all he's done in these movies so far is fuck women.
Fucked women. He's
drink
partied.
martinis.
Yes, he's not done shit. I don't think James Bond has ever been to a goddamn grocery store. It's not
Very easily distracted drunk pussy hound.
Sean Connery has been drinking and smoking and partying for so fucking long. James Bond is not a good man. But did we introduce Jason? Is this his first visit?
Jason's here. He's a friend of a friend who's now my friend. Right? I mean,
Well, that's a really nice introduction, man. I'm glad you were able to introduce him so kindly.
he does things.
It's nice to be here to be a secondhand friend.
No.
Like, what was that?
I'm just thinking of how I know
the
Jason.
discount
Right?
shelf level friend. Here.
No.
I'm
So,
glad I can
who's now my friend? That's what I said. I concluded it. Who's now my friend? I never knew if we were like actually cool, you know? Because I'd meet you through Charles, and then we'd talk, and we're like, yeah, we gotta hang out. And then I never knew if that was like I was like, yeah, I'd be cool with hanging out, but like, is that just the thing you say? When
Well,
you
yeah, I
see
mean,
like just
another
be
person?
polite.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a polite thing or if it was like, are we cool? And now we talk, and
now we're cool.
Now you're sitting in my office.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm just way too polite to have said no at any point of this, so I'm just...
So I followed up. You did not intend on a follow-up.
Yeah, you guys actually aren't friends at all.
That's
more of a business venture.
I am really just counting the time until I can actually block you on all social media platforms and just put all this behind me.
This is a hell of a time for me to find that out.
Let's shut the door on old Tyler, huh? No, but welcome to the podcast, Jason. Do you want to say anything about yourself, or we'll just leave that...
I can do a brief introduction.
Yeah, let's do a brief introduction, man.
So my name is Jason. I am pretty tech-focused and music-focused. That's where a lot of my interests lie. I'm hoping I can use some of that to maybe make this fun.
What's your genre of choice?
I like a lot of like heavy music.
Okay, like
heavy
metal?
The breakdowns and the blast beats and the...
Right on.
That's what gets me
That
going.
grumble shit?
The less distinguishable, the better.
For sure.
That's where I live.
Rock on, dude. Rock on. Well, welcome to the Content Crisis. Tyler, what did we watch?
We watched, what did we watch?
Well, I don't know. Listen, I know what it was. But I gotta be honest, I don't know in what order. Like I know all the titles. I know Gold Member's the last one.
Yes,
I don't remember. I don't remember like The Spy Who Shagged Me, International Man of Mystery.
Man Mystery, Spy Who
Okay,
Shagged Me.
yeah, I didn't want to.
This is the original Austin Powers.
Yes.
We wanted to take a break after watching all the Connery and the one Lazenby film, and kind of put a cap on that era by watching Austin Powers, because essentially what Austin Powers is a complete spoof of that whole era of James Bond.
Between pretty much like the first one, which was like 65, right?
62 for Dr. No.
Up to
71.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, 71.
Yes, 71 for Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, so that era is just a fucking playground for absolutely most spoofable, ridiculous
yes,
shit.
It's a sexual assault ridden drinking wonderland for Sean Connery.
Absolutely.
Where else would you want to be?
You're right. Yeah,
especially at that era. So yeah, it's definitely a treat. This is definitely a treat. I wouldn't even really call it a break, because I feel like it's still part of the narrative that we're going towards. You know what I mean? Even if it is a spoof. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's still ridiculous.
It's still pretty much 007.
Yeah.
Doing the same shit.
A little more on the nose.
Yeah, 007 with bad teeth.
Yeah.
A
little shorter. So if I told you before watching this that Austin Powers and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood were connected.
Let me ask you before you start on this thing. Did you make this up?
No.
This is like an internet thing? Or is this like a...
I pulled the information straight from the special features on the Austin Powers DVD.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, did you came up with this theory, right?
Right.
Okay, I just want to make...
I said it, yes. I made the connection, obviously. No one's out there on the internet.
Okay.
It's a conspiracy, man. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Austin Powers are...
Well, no, I just want to know if it was original evidence, an original theory and original evidence, right? That's all I was really asking. So,
yeah.
With that being said, Tyler's original theory of.
Right, and I'm not saying they're in cahoots or anything. Like, this isn't some, like, big, oh, I figured it out. No, I'm just saying.
Like
We've cracked the case.
I was saying it's funny that in a roundabout way, two things that I love very much is this James Bond secret agent kind of world, and obviously the spoof world of movies, and this fantastic movie that's a poster on my wall that I love very much.
Well,
We're all connected.
Where's the connection?
Yeah, I'm working.
Well, okay, not bad. I'm trying to drive the. Let me drive it forward with some
He's
questions,
world building
man. Yeah,
right
I'm world
now.
building, man. Well, someone is.
Yeah. I was building the theory. I gotta,
Sorry, excuse me.
do the whole
I'm
thing.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm just,
I know you're excited.
I'm excited.
I see your pants. I got it. That's a
camera
boner
doesn't
joke.
go.
I actually
That's a
looked down. I was
boner.
like, "Am I showing?"
Like,
you
do
never
I have
know,
a
man.
boner
Yeah,
right now?
I never
Yeah.
know, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've got a disease. It's
I've lost
maybe not
control.
disease, but condition.
No, so Bond is excuse me. This Austin Power movie is based on quite a few things, right? So we have in the '60s when Bond became a hit, '62. We talked about the profit and the budgets on Dr. No. It was a big cash cow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It was a $1.1 million budget on Dr. No, the first Bond movie, and they made like $59 million.
Great.
So, bam! Especially in the '60s,
Yeah.
right? It's not like a today movie. Oh, they made $59 million. Pfft, whatever, you know.
This is
But they
big
made some,
blockbuster. Yeah.
they made some serious
Like
money.
$5 million. They made like a 5,000% profit. I
Yeah.
don't even know
Yeah.
percentage. You got
I just wanna make
percentages
sure
there,
I got,
Ron?
not percentages. I just want to make sure it was $59.5 million
Yeah.
with a budget of one, just straight $1 million.
Plan.
So people go, oh, well, this spy thing might be something to it. This might be lucrative, right? So one of the movie series they started coming out with is movies about Matt Helm. He's a spy that poses as a fashion photographer, which kind of reveals why Austin Powers is always taking pictures. Oh yeah, baby. No. Yeah. So there were 4 Matt Helm movies: The Silencers, Murderers Row, The Ambushers, and The Wrecking Crew. Now, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's Tarantino does these things like with Inglourious Bastards and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he kind of likes to rewrite history, like kind of a what if, right?
Yeah.
So basically, what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a what if of the Manson murders if everything went different that night. Who was murdered that night? Sharon Tate. It was at her house on Cielo Drive. Now in the movie, she goes to her movie. She was in the movie The Wrecking Crew with Matt Helm, or I don't remember the guy's name. Tony Franciosa or Franchosa. I don't remember. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's
Frankie.
Tony Frankie.
Tony Frankie.
Tony Frankie. So she's in that movie. In the movie, she goes and sees herself in the movie at the theater. She just does the whole thing. And she's like, "What if you're in the movie? Do you have to buy a ticket?" It's a whole thing.
It's cute.
So-
It's a cute scene.
Yeah. Well, and
She's
Sharon
really-
Tate's
she does
just a great looking gal.
Margot Robbie.
So.
Is she on the poster?
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's, you know.
Yeah. She's
and
just
she
fantastic.
does a great job. She's, you know.
She's a great actor, and she's just fantastic looking, and it's just
It
so
helps.
cute. So adorable. So
yeah.
adorable.
It's a great movie. I like it. So the parody of those films built into Austin Powers. You got her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, her character having been in that movie. And there's the connection.
Only a connection that Tyler Klein can see, but I like it. All right, man.
I like the subtle thing. I like drawing lines. I like.
He's got the board up.
I
He's
like
got everything.
Yes, I like the Charlie thing. There's the
Yeah.
I'm crazed out of my mind, smoking a cigarette in the basement.
Well, if we want to get
With
real,
papers
if we
and
want to get real
wires everywhere.
shagadelic about it.
Yeah, let's
if
do
we're
it.
gonna get in the old era of peace and love, man, I think it's an art form. You know what I mean? So you're gonna see inspirations of your favorite art form in other art forms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of the beauty of it. You know what I mean? You love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know if you love Austin Powers. I mean, I definitely enjoy the movie. But you're gonna
It's definitely
you
a
see
comedy of my childhood.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely got a place in my heart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool, man. It's cool, man. Can't finish my thought. You know, getting to that point, a little stoned. So we'll move past it.
Moving past it. So it's also based on just a little other background. It was just the many the many things that Austin Powers kind of spoofs. Just all the secret agent shit. All of it pretty much based in the 60s. It's all pretty much making fun of that whole era. There are 2 movies about a guy named, a secret agent named Derek Flint, kind of based on Bond. It was called Our Man Flint and In Like Flint. He was not only the world's best secret agent, but he was also the world's greatest lover and an expert in electronics and dolphin speech.
It's the only skill set you need.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Jason if you knew how to speak to dolphins.
I am working on that,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
give me a couple of years.
Very cool, very cool.
He's already got world's best lover down.
Yeah.
He's got electronics.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
just need that. Give it a couple of years, man.
You start talking to dolphins, and they're making a movie
We're in
about you.
business.
And where they pulled the idea of the fembots was a group of super vixens that were brainwashed in beauty salons in the movie In Like Flint.
Which very cool. I want to see that. I want to see how they do
Yes,
it.
I want to watch
just want to see these
all these old spy movies.
these pretty girls walking into a salon and just a perm or whatever they do, and those things, and they put it on their head and they do the shaking. And then all of a sudden, the music, bum, bum.
Yeah.
And then
And then they're attacking Derek Flint.
exactly. That's awesome.
So is that, and then Michael Caine. He played a spy named Harry Palmer in
Harry Potter.
Harry, yeah,
Well, literally.
that's what it was. Harry Potter. Harry Palmer.
Harry Potter.
In 3 movies. They were produced by none other than the producer of the Bond movies up until 1974,
Saltzman?
Harry Saltzman.
Harry Saltzman.
So he was cheating on the Bond series. He's making all his money from Bond, and then he's like, "Look, I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna make some money on Harry Palmer. I got Harry Palmer. I got James Bond.
Double dipping.
Which I think, I think that was just kind of par for the course. At the time.
Well, sure.
You know
No,
what I
I'm
mean?
not saying anything about the. I just,
Now you kind of expect the director to have a little more passion, or maybe.
Well, he's the
he was
producer. He doesn't
yeah,
give a
actually,
fuck.
matter of fact, producers don't give a shit. They're
He
just
doesn't
like,
give
where's
a
the
fuck.
money at?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't even tell you one producer of today. I mean, Harvey Weinstein, was he a producer? Or?
I mean, he was, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a slime ball. Okay, so that kind of paints. I'm gonna
Paints a picture of Harry
yeah.
Saltzman.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you see what the Bond movies
broad
are like.
brush, man. Going with the
This
broad
dude,
brush here.
this
I'm
dude
gonna
is
say they're
probably
all slime
raping
balls.
girls. It was a whole thing,
Yeah, I gotcha.
Not to generalize anybody.
Right, like I said, broad brush. Listen, if a producer is listening to this right now, first things first, thank you. Second, you're probably a slime ball, so let's move
You're
on.
probably a slime ball, but we don't need you. No.
Yeah.
No. So that was 3 movies. Michael Caine originally signed on for 5. They only made 3. Guy Hamilton, who directed Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, and Man with the Golden Gun, he directed the second Harry Palmer movie. Michael Caine lost interest in
Naturally.
the movies. He had signed on for 5. He only did 3, so he just said, I'm out. That's why Connery took that break in the middle. He just kind of he was worrying about getting typecast, so that's why he took a break. Lazenby comes in, but then they give him this big package of money and other benefits, and that's why he comes back and does his last one, Diamonds Are Forever.
Because Lazenby was
He's garbage, man.
garbage, man. He's a weak Bond.
Weak,
Weak Bond, man.
very weak. Although he was the first Bond to slap a woman.
Very in your face with it too.
Yeah.
Like he didn't care. He didn't care.
I don't know if that's the thing to be like the stand-up part about your character. Be like, yeah, I slapped her.
I was the first Bond.
I'll do
to,
it again.
Right,
slap a
exactly.
woman, so
It was a different time, man.
kind of a big deal. So yeah, there's that, and then this is the part that I thought was funny. We have. Well, they're just kind of talking about basically what they put in the special features is just everything they kind of pulled from to spoof this movie, right? So there's a secret agent movie called A Man Could Get Killed, where a businessman is mistaken for a secret agent. So there's no secret agents here. We're just well, you kind of look like I don't know how that movie went.
that kind of sounds interesting.
Just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Right place at the right time.
And this series is funny to me. So TV's The Man from U.N.C.L.E., with the exception of To Trap a Spy, the U.N.C.L.E. movies were mixing TV episodes with additional footage. The movies were called One of Our Spies is Missing, One Spy Too Many, The Spy with My Face, The Spy in the Green Hill, and The Helicopter Spies. All those movies except the last one were from 1968. The last one was from 66. The last one was from 1968. And then the last spy movie was also Sean Connery's brother starred in an Italian spy movie called Brother of 007.
Just perfect.
So doesn't get much more unoriginal.
That's super meta. I
than
mean,
all
not
that.
even. I mean, just like they don't give a fuck.
We need the same thing, but a little different.
Yeah. It's the brother this time.
Yeah. So that's where they pulled a lot of the inspiration from. So that's
man.
that part of the notes.
That was that. Oh,
No.
that's not all of them, right?
Well, that's
Okay.
that part of.
Man, I was like, this is about to be a real short.
It's a
episode,
real
man.
short, real dead.
Thanks
real
for coming,
dead.
guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I'm gonna
Subscribe.
rate it. I'm gonna rate it a 6 point. No, okay.
Okay, and so then I figure we go through everything we realize because we're in our Bond series, right?
Yes.
So I figure we can go through everything we saw connections of
For sure.
from Bonds.
Yeah. Well, let's just let's jump right in, man.
Let's
What do you
jump
think?
in.
So, like, how's it start? What's the opening scene, man? Paint a picture.
So we open right up, and it's the classic scene from Bonds. So the first, I don't know, up until you get to You Only Live Twice, you do not see Ernst Blofeld. It's always the behind shot. He's petting a cat.
Yeah.
Number 2, you failed me.
His face
Like,
is always obscured. Or
Yes,
just
yeah, you
off
don't-
site.
It's always the back shot, or like, yeah,
His chin.
in Thunderball, this thing's down, and you just see the cat in his hand.
Yeah.
That's all you see, and so they go right to that. But then eventually, come around. First time you see Ernst Blofeld's face is You Only Live Twice, and that's the Blofeld they modeled Dr. Evil after because he's got this scar. Fun fact: that Blofeld is played by Donald Pleasance, who is in Halloween. He's Loomis.
Okay.
I don't know how familiar you are with Halloween and all that, but
Once a year.
They've also
Harley
had
didn't
like
know what I was
fucking
talking about,
5
but-
different Blofelds. How many?
yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I think it came out to 5.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like and it doesn't matter
Of course
because all
they-
you see is
yeah.
the cat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you could put
As far as whose faces we saw, though, there's one in You Only Live Twice, Honor Majesty's Secret Service, and Diamonds Are Forever.
I mean,
They
it-
just could not keep continuity on who Blofeld was.
they were definitely like
I think
different
there might
every
have been
movie.
4 actually. Now that I think about, because whoever was faceless, but anyhow, so you open right up with that shot, and you see the people sitting at the table. I believe the doctor and the dude with the hook hand. I didn't get a chance to watch Live and Let Die yet. Those guys are actually from Live and Let Die.
Yeah, it felt like they were all based on something.
Right. And then you got just a random military guy.
Yeah.
And then I started watching the director's commentary with like Mike Myers and the guy that directed this.
Mhm.
And they said literally the girl at the end of the table on the left side was just a meter maid they found outside. And they're like, hey, can you come in for this? So
You
it's
stand
just
here for a
meter
couple of
maid.
shots?
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. And then Mustafa, who's Will Ferrell's character, he hadn't done anything like huge yet. I mean, obviously SNL's pretty big,
Yeah.
but like this is pre like Elf, Step Brothers,
Yeah.
all the big shit that Will
Yeah,
Ferrell's
big Will
in.
Ferrell like
Yeah.
craze.
Because he just has this little part. Literally, he's in this movie. He's probably got 3 minutes total of screen time.
Yeah.
Because you see him in the beginning, and he's just wiping the sweat from his forehead because he doesn't get dropped in, and then he gets yelled at because the cat doesn't have hair anymore. And I think they based Mustafa off of just. It's kind of a vague mixture of all the goons that attack Bond in all the different countries he's in.
I felt like I forget which movie we watched where he's in. Was he like Sri
Jamaica one?
Lanka? Is it in Jamaica? I think
Dr.
there's one
No
where
is
he's like in
Jamaica.
like somewhere where there's people dressed like that, or
Okay.
has he not been to Asia besides Japan yet?
Well, from Russia with Love, there's like the gypsy competition.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's got to judge these two gypsies.
Yes, that's what I'm
Because
thinking of.
one
the
slept with
gypsy.
the other's husband, and so they have to fight to the death to see who gets to keep the husband.
Mm-hmm.
That is
And
exactly
then
what I'm
Bond
thinking
ends
of.
up sleeping with both of them that night. So
It's cool.
Good for
it's
him.
Cool.
So
I
does
think
he
it's
get
cool.
the husband then after that? Or?
He's
Yeah.
got-
Did he win?
literally is
He
the-
won. Yeah,
he's
he
the-
stabbed.
He's the gypsy king.
A lot of
now.
stabbing
He's the
going
gypsy
on.
king.
Fun.
But yeah, I feel like, you know,
He's the gypsy king. Yeah.
it definitely reminded me of
Yeah.
that.
No. Yeah.
It
You're
reminded
right.
me of that, though.
Yeah. Oh, well, Ali Karim Bey is his
Yes.
helper. They're
That's
kind of the
right.
stand-in for Felix Leiter in that movie. So.
Ali Karim Bey.
So we move on to so that's Mustafa, and then Fraulein.
Yeah, we meet Fraulein.
Fraulein's definitely based on a mixture of the lady from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, who's doing all the yelling, and the girl at the end of she's in From Russia with Love, but very brief segments. But she's the one that comes in the room at the end of the movie, and she's got the boot that the knife pops out and it's got the poison, and Bond fights her in the room.
What about from Her Majesty's Secret Service, though, that lady?
Yeah, that's what's a mixture of that
Oh,
lady
yeah, okay.
and kind of the evil lady that's ordering everybody around, and because obviously Fraulein is literally what they called her
Right, yeah.
in that movie. Yeah, I've taught you to love chickens. That's my favorite line from Our Majesty's
fucking
Secret
hilarious,
Service.
dude.
So that's those characters.
Well, from there,
Yeah.
I'm literally trying to, like, piece it together, man. This is why I needed to take notes, because, like, every scene had inspiration. They introduced us to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly how the scene goes, but I know he almost immediately has a music number.
Yeah, so that's how they introduce him. Is they go. The only man that can stop me now is Austin Powers, and then pan to him, and he's in a freeze frame on him. He's walking down the
Yeah.
street all fancy, right?
The song.
Yeah,
That's
it's
an
a-
original song?
That
We should look that up, huh?
you hit me
I
on the
think-
last the one thing I didn't research. You're like, is that?
I don't know.
No.
Because I know, that's kind of been a James Bond thing up to this point.
Right. Yes, you're right.
Original.
Starting with Goldfinger, every Bond song was an original. So, of course, then On Her Majesty's Secret Service just skipped out. They're like, we don't
I
want
don't give
any.
a fuck.
We
man.
don't
They
want
did
any
not
part of
give
that.
Shit. They had George Lazenby sitting there moping around,
Yeah.
sitting on his ass.
Halfway through the movie, he's like, I don't want to.
I want to take 5.
He said, he quit. He's like, I'm not going to be back. In the middle of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, George Lazenby said,
I'm good.
Yeah, he put his 2 weeks
I'm
in,
good after
like,
this.
6 weeks before, or like, he put his 2 weeks in, like, 6 months into production. He's like, yeah, I'm done with this.
yeah. It's that I felt like that opening song really just hammers home the ridiculous idea of this international man of mystery.
Yeah, because we've talked about that, how there's no way James Bond, because everywhere he goes, he's getting a fucking picture taken.
Yeah, everybody's James Bond. Oh, you're Bond, James Bond. Oh, Mr. Bond.
Every woman
We're honored to have you.
turns, second he enters a room, every woman,
It's him.
it's James Bond. Yeah, like you're not a spy at that point.
Right.
People know who you are. It's like,
You're just a celebrity.
yeah, it's like if Edward Snowden goes into Starbucks, people are like, that's fucking Edward Snowden. Like,
Edward Snowden's a spy now.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
right. Well, I mean, he's kind of a spy, right? Isn't he?
Well, sure. I just mean, you can't go be like, oh, I'm Pete. Like James Bond always does, where he's just like, oh, hey, I'm Steve.
Yeah,
What's going on? It's like, no, everyone knows your face. Villains hate you. Like, you can't go undercover anywhere now. Everybody's like, watch out for that fucking...
Everyone's got like a
British
picture on there,
player.
like, no, I'm
You
pretty
know?
sure you're James
Like,
Bond.
No,
This is
you're
like
not Pete. That's...
The second he walks in a neighborhood, the fucking house value goes down. Like,
It's like,
he's dangerous.
yeah, somebody's
He's a
gonna get
fucking
murdered
menace.
here. Yeah.
But anyway, yes, those big music number, perfect for the tone of the movie.
Right. and to make it even to really nail the part home, he drives around in his car, the British flag painted car. It was like, in case you didn't, I mean, there he is. He's gone. Yeah,
right, exactly.
He's got the
swinger on the back.
The personalized license plate. And if you noticed, every time he was in the car, they do the green screen thing to really throw it back to those older movies where every time they're in a car, oversteering and the green screen in the back.
Yeah, there really wasn't just to mention this, there was no car chase.
No, it's one thing they didn't get on.
That's a big James Bondism. That's a Bondism right there. The car chases.
I want to say in the next one is when he finds, because he goes back in time. And so then he finds Mustafa, and that's the ask me 3 times thing. I can't stand that. That's my pet peeve. And then, anyway, there's some kind of card thing there.
Okay, well,
because he's got to chase him through the canyon.
I got you. So we'll get to that Bondism next movie. Then?
Yeah. Okay. We'll do the second one once we get through the Roger Moores.
Okay. Word.
Let's see. The ridiculous name of the club, the Electric Psychedelic Pussycat Swingers Club.
That sounds pretty normal to me.
Yeah,
that sounds
pretty normal.
Yeah.
Is that like a? I tried to look at the beginning letters. What do you call it? Like an acronym?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I was trying to see if like it spelt anything, but I was kind
of. It
of.
would just be EPSC.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got to, but that was my first.
EPPSC or EPPSC. So, yeah, EPSC. Or just EPS.
I mean, we could say like Epscalepsy. Epscalepsy. Yeah, not to. Yeah, it was just kind of like a neon sign. Maybe. No, that's a fucking reach. I'm reaching. That was definitely not an acronym for anything.
Yeah, sounds like a reach.
Not even. I don't think.
Is your arm hurt? Because it looks like you're reaching.
Yeah, that's beyond reaching.
Mrs. Kensington was obviously like a version of Miss Moneypenny. I mean, obviously Miss Moneypenny's never been in the field, but they do this kind of like hybrid of, like the secret agent sidekick and the woman who's got, because she kind of does the, when she's on the phone with her daughter later, and she kind of goes, "Oh no, it's been so long," and she's like kind of tugging at her shirt, like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't talk to him.
Well, I don't know about Miss Money. I think Miss Moneypenny is kind of her own. I guess you're right, because Miss Moneypenny does kind of blend in with all the other women that James Bond is raping. But yeah, I guess you're right. If they have to kind of smash these characters into one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they just kind of do a little hybrid situation.
Yeah, because Miss Moneypenny is more just kind of desperate for any James Bond affection.
Yes.
And Miss Kensington really doesn't give a shit. I mean, until obviously
until later
he puts his mojo on, but
when she's old and he's
which do you find a little weird that Mrs. Kensington was like, oh, like I don't know. He has this whole speech where he's like, oh, like I loved your mother and like your dad deserved your mom.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna sleep with you. Like it was a little weird. It was a little weird. I feel like.
Like I'm willing to downgrade to you. Like,
yeah, like I don't really.
I trade her in for the newer model. Like, here we are.
I'm really just going for the bloodline, so this still counts.
Which still counts. I guess so. I mean,
you came out of her, and I'm in you, so by proxy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he did sit in a freezer for 30 years. So they're both the same age at this point. But I just think it's it's a movie. So I'm not gonna. Again, I'm reaching.
And a spoof at that.
Spoof at that. Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah. When he comes out of the cryogenic tank, the belt and he's going down is very reminiscent of in Dr. No. They have radiation cleanup. Did you know if you're exposed to radiation, all you gotta do is wash off with soap and water, and you're fine.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been told.
That's the theory in Dr. No.
Yeah,
Just wash it off.
Just wash it off.
Just
wash it off.
Does it matter if it's like warm water or?
Yeah, I think strictly warm water. Yeah.
Lukewarm. We don't want to. Yeah.
You don't want hot.
You don't want hot. Yeah.
You might cause.
You might dry out.
You might cause some fission.
Yeah. Yeah. You might become a nuke. I like the. As a kid, I always liked the big boy reference I didn't even like go to Big Boy as a kid. Like I was like somewhere we never went, but I just thought that was so funny seeing like, you know what I mean, the Big Boy as a rocket ship. I thought that was the funniest thing.
It's like, the big boy's back. It's like, one would argue the big boy never went away. They
Yeah.
always offered reasonably priced meals.
Shameless plug right in the middle, which, you know, that's, now that would be really cringy, but back then that was probably like pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's because that was probably like the early version of it. Like this was like, oh wow, no one's made.
Yeah, like we didn't know. Now we know what product placement is. If
Yeah.
you put like if you put a Budweiser in a scene, it's like paid for
Well,
by this fucking.
And yeah, so one of the deleted scenes where all the guys are in the bar, it's like
Tabs,
everything is Budweiser facing out.
label out. Yeah, exactly. Now it has to be a little more subtle. But back then, they didn't give a fuck. They're like, listen, who's gonna pay us? And we're just so stupid at the time. We're like, I do want a tab soda right now.
Yeah. He's got like 8 of them on the table.
Yeah.
One's tipped over.
Exactly.
As he's learning about the time when he was frozen.
Yeah, so I almost said James Bond, but so Austin in that scene, that was another one of my favorites as a kid, because this is like, I watched this as a kid, you know what I mean? This is
me
one
too,
of my favorites, man. And that scene where he's going down the conveyor belt, I thought it was hilarious as a kid.
Oh, when he keeps peeing?
Yeah. I mean,
as a kid,
the whole
pee jokes,
scene. Yeah.
anything to do with going to the bathroom when you're a kid is gold material.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, that sticks with me to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously right now because I just watched it. But
And the leg twitch.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time.
he has to like
Come.
post up on the wall.
Complete.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that was definitely one of my favorites as a kid. One thing to mention, since this is Content Crisis and we talk about this kind of gay stuff, man, he's naked the entire time, but if you notice, there's one little part where he like walks a little bit too far and you can see the cap, like you can see where the base, his dick trunk.
Okay.
So you can see his dick trunk.
Yeah.
But you can see like I don't even know what it's like the sack or whatever, not his
Right,
testicles.
they got
like
like
the thing that's over
the
his
cover,
the
kind
cover,
of.
yeah, the cover, yeah,
the
the
cover,
cap. You can see a little bit of the cap,
Yeah,
and it's way less satisfying than seeing a little bit of a boob.
Yeah.
But it was still like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It was more of a like just a point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yep, there it is,
There's
kind of
penis,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah. When you see a little titty, you're like. Like an 8. You're like, oh.
Like, hold on, pause.
Yeah, pause.
It's like you like, no, dude, rewind that.
Yeah,
When we
that
were
was
watching
booby. That
Doctor
was
No.
booby, yeah.
There's this brief thing where she's like, the towel's coming and it's not quite there yet. And you're like, if you pause, you're like, oh, there's the nipple. It's like it's
see
at
it
an
a
angle,
little
but
bit.
you're like, there it
He gets the
is.
Sharpie draws on the screen. It's
He's
right
like,
there.
yeah, you see? It's like, did you just write on my fucking TV?
Which wouldn't that be some shit if that was like kind of intentional? Like they're just being so lax with it. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like your dick will pop out a little bit. Like it's
Well-
just shoddy camera work.
I mean, that scene where she's doing the whole, like, you know, the dick's just being covered and she takes the bite out of the sausage and all that. When he's stretching, and there's like it's like the pitcher and the sausage, but like that's where you see the cover, right? Where he's just kind of like, and you.
Oh, well, we see it there.
What's going on
We
there?
see it there too.
Yeah.
Because so that's 2 different scenes that you see the
Right.
cover. That's funny because maybe dude, that might be actually a reference because you definitely got a titty slit
I
at
thought-
least once in all those
Yeah.
movies.
I
In
thought
the first
the
like
whole
5 James Bond movies.
I thought the whole vaguely hiding nudity was a callback to all that, where it's just like, and especially when a lot of vagina gets in the hot tub,
Yeah.
only see the back, and then she's walking in, and you only see the legs, and it stops, and it's like a different shot, because that's the Bond thing. It's like this crazy hot girl, and then she's like laying on the bed. Oh, James,
Yeah.
you know, and she's like, oh wow, what a hot back you have, you know. It's just funny.
They're just trying to push it and see how far they can take it.
Right. Obviously, in the older movies, there's a lot more, but.
Yeah.
But in the newer movies, they don't slip.
I mean, I think they should go back to the roots.
Just start
Just throw a
letting it
titty
slip.
in there.
Throw a titty.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard could it be to just up the rating to R?
I mean, you don't
You
want
know,
to do.
You
And
lose
it's
out
like-
on a
you
lot
limit-
of
you
sales.
limit-
that way.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
limit
you-
on the
I suppose,
going
yeah.
right back to product placement. You would limit, the product placement,
that's
the
true.
sponsors you would get, or however the fuck movies work. But
Right.
I think
That's fair.
they don't need to move it up to an R rating. Just show us one titty.
Or you have the unrated version,
See,
Or
that's
Bond's
Just for
got-
a titty
Bond's-
scene,
no, no, no,
or like we
Bond's
just do a
getting-
13-minute deleted
Bond's
scene?
going
of-
full
yeah,
penetration.
yeah. Bond's just going in.
See, that would be ideal if it was like in the actual scene, like he's just a pathetic lover. Like, it's just, like everybody's just like so impressed that it's James
He's a
Bond that they
pathetic-
just keep the legend living.
Pathetic
They'd be like,
lover.
that was the
He's
worst sex
yeah,
I've
he's,
ever
like,
had,
awful
but I'm
in
gonna
bed.
tell everybody I had amazing
He's
sex
like,
with James Bond.
he's like, I'm gonna eat some escargot back here. Oh, I spilled some on your. I'm gonna snort it off you. Oh, I love escargot. I'm done. Yeah, I finished about 5 minutes ago. It's soft, yes. Kind of hammering it into you. So fucking. I love this escargot. I'm so hungry.
Insatiably.
Oh shoot.
Oh, man. Alright, any other references to...
I don't think there were any other references in this whole movie, man. You ready to rate it this thing?
You're just done, huh? No, I'm good.
I got my rating ready to go, man. It was ready
Yeah.
last week.
Uh,
Alright, so what happens after this scene, man? So he gets frozen. He gets unfrozen. He pisses.
the next one was, oh hell, let's just do what we always do. Hijack some nuclear weapons and hold the world hostage.
That was your next note. Well, there's something before that. The penis
Oh,
pump.
you want to
I
go
thought we were going
through,
chronologically.
like, in
Yeah,
order?
yeah.
Well,
think that kinda
I was
makes
just getting the, just all the notes that I wrote down about connecting it to Bond.
Referential.
Oh, okay. You
No,
want to get the
no, it's
references
fine.
out of the way?
Yeah, I got a dig, so we could just go in order of note.
All right, let's go.
At
Let's
this
do that,
point,
man. Let's
yeah.
do that, man. So, what was the quote you said? We got nuclear bombs, but Gorbachev dropped this wall or something like that.
No, so they're debating, what they're gonna do, and he wants to blackmail,
Oh yeah. He comes up with this.
Prince Charles, and he
super
wants to.
He's
do
like, I'm gonna
some-
take a laser through the ozone layer.
Yeah, it's like they're like both those things have already happened. And he's like, hell, let's just do what we always do: hijack some nuclear weapons and hold the world hostage.
Yeah.
Tried and
That's-
true.
Tried and true. It's definitely worked before.
Yep.
Well, actually, it's never worked before because
I mean,
James
Bond foils it every time,
every time,
deservedly
with
or
ease.
not.
And he's done it with a fucking seashell farmer once, so it doesn't take much to take out this syndicate of fucking bad guys.
No, it doesn't. Especially because
For context, Jason, he literally finds a woman on the beach hunting for seashells, and she at first is a little like animalistic, I would almost say, with her knife. She's ready to almost like a tribal warrior, and he calms her down with his charm.
he calms her down by saying, "Oh no, I'm not gonna hurt you."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then he ends up saving the whole planet. So I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, one would argue that maybe he didn't save the whole planet because they were just gonna throw it off course by using radio waves. And so I think
Yeah, I mean the plan was pretty stupid, but
It was gonna land somewhere else,
Yeah,
and then be somewhere else's problem.
yeah, that one was kind of a.
basically, yeah. My favorite was the whole "you only live twice" thing, where Britain knows exactly what's going on with their with their
dude.
rockets orbiting the Earth and them getting swallowed by this rocket.
But they're not going to say
Spectre.
shit to America
And
and
Britain
Russia
doesn't say anything
because it's our information,
it's America and Russia.
and they're about to
mad
bomb
at each other. And they're like, "Oh, you guys are pretty mad about that, huh?"
Britain was literally being a stinker, just being a stinker. Like,
Like,
oops,
we're gonna figure it out.
I'm not going to tell you dead information.
It's like, you're
like,
pretty
fuck
mad,
you.
Russia?
Yeah, it's like, you weirdo.
Sorry, Russia. Yeah, America, keep calm. We're gonna look into it. Even though they know exactly what's going on.
We got our best guy on it.
We got our best guy
Top
on it.
man.
it's what's his name? Oh, you don't want to know his name. It's not James Bond, is it? Well, yeah, it's James.
It's just,
Yeah, oh, you know James?
Is he still drinking? Yeah, he's still drinking.
he's
God
still
damn
it. Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's pretty fucked
He's
up
drinking
right now.
everything in front of him and fucking
What's he
anything that
doing right
moves.
now? Well, I think he's fucking the maid doggy style and eating escargot.
Well, it's fine. They literally say, "We've got our best man on it," and then it cuts to him in China in bed with a woman.
yeah, our best guy.
Yeah, it's good times. They definitely reference to Bond's just lack of value for any woman's words or anything. Bond's always right down to business with sleeping with people. Vanessa's on the plane. She's talking about why she got into the field and her majors at Oxford. And he goes, "That's fascinating, Vanessa. Listen, why don't we go in the back and chat?"
He cuts her off mid-sentence, too. She's fine.
I just want to travel. Listen. That's fascinating.
He cuts her off mid-sentence, dude.
Which is pretty par for the course.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a Bondism right there, being terrible to women.
Like, listen, it's been 13 minutes of screen time. We need to bone.
Yeah. And usually in Bond movies, it's like minute 1.
You're contractually obligated to lay down in a bed with me. So.
Which had to be hard on its own. And you probably needed a contract for that. Connery's probably like, "Where's the hole?"
Where's the hole?
Sean, God damn it.
She comes out like, kind of like
Shaking.
shoulders slumped, kind of ashamed.
Kinda.
He's like, "Get into bed with me. Come on. You remember the contract? Come on. Get in the bed.
Is this your signature?
Look at me. Look at me.
Like,
Now
hold
look
the
at this
in
paper.
front of her face. Listen, hey.
Take your clothes off, bitch. I mean, whore."
It's better. Bitch, I mean whore. Oops, I gave you too much respect there. I mean whore.
Sean is a monster. He's a monster, and he will never change.
That's good.
What made my day was when I was looking up Sean Connery interviews to see why he had kind of left for that On Her Majesty's Secret Service movie. And when he's in the interview and he's talking about doing the Bond movies, and he's like, "Yeah, I actually wrote a lot of those jokes right on hand." The Bondisms, right? The Bondisms is like the head thing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Oh, not a great time to lose one's head."
Yeah,
All that shit.
Your quips.
There's
The
at
quips.
least
they're all these stupid
5 of those.
fucking one-liner quips. Yeah.
At least 5 of those from like Goldfinger on, because they're kind of still just getting into it in the beginning, and then they're like, "Oh, this works." And
I
so
don't want to waste any time, but like, do you have? I know you write a bunch from down. Do you have any like quick off-the-hand Bondisms?
Yeah. Bondisms.
Yeah. I know you have like,
Well-
all your notes over there and whatnot. I don't want you to like dig through them all, but like,
Well, I mean, no, I kind of
Do you
recycle
remember-
after the podcast is over.
do you remember any? Because there's like,
Oh well,
there's some real good ones, dude.
I mean, from
I
I can definitely name you. I can definitely name you the one from the newest Bond, No Time to Die, where he sets a small explosive. I think he like something explodes by this dude's head.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, mind blowing."
Perfect.
Yeah, he runs off.
Perfect.
No, I can't remember any good ones like from what we've watched
That's okay. We'll
recent
definitely
experience.
be
But
experienced to more. We'll
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
be exposed to
go
more.
back and listen to the Bond movies at this point.
Yeah, please.
'Cause this is gonna be a long time away.
If you're listening to Austin Powers first things first, shame on you. Second, thank you for listening.
Shame
Yeah.
Also,
followed
like,
by gratitude.
Yes. Followed by go check them out.
Go check 'em out.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
It's much like that. We kind of Austin Powers size all the Bond movies, where we just kind of make fun of Sean Connery.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's going to get better here with the Roger Moore ones. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But listen, okay, let me be the judge of that, because this is
Yeah.
content crisis. Not Tyler's gonna superimpose his.
no, I was just
You know what I
saying.
mean?
I'm pretty sure.
Stay in your
I
lane.
think it's a little better. Yeah, you're right.
sorry, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot of vagina is also just a huge reference to all
Just
the
their
ridiculous
names.
Bond woman names: Pussy Galore,
Pussy galore.
Honey Rider, Plenty O'Toole. Which the funny one in that one is how she goes, "I'm Plenty," and he's looking at her, and she's got big
Oh,
boobs,
Yeah.
heaving.
and he goes, "Yes, you are." And then she goes, "Plenty O'Toole," and then he goes, and then like solid dick joke right there. He's like, must have been your father's name. So,
Nice, James.
Classic.
big tits
Classic.
and a big dick, apparently. So,
But not me. I don't have a big dick. Not me.
so then they're playing cards. The whole bit with James Bond is he's supposed to be just master of everything.
Right.
He knows his alcohol. He knows about butterflies.
Yeah, he
turns
knows
out.
about butterflies,
And,
gambling,
and he knows about gambling. And then
playing cards.
the whole joke for Austin Powers to just be terrible at cards, where number 2's got the X-ray vision eye patch, and he knows exactly. He's at 17. He's like, oh, it's a 4. Oh, hit me. He's like, I suggest you stay. He's like, hit me. 21. Oh, look at you. And then Austin Powers has 5, and he goes, I'll stay. Like, I suggest you hit. I also like to live dangerously.
Yeah. Which that's where you first meet a lot of vagina.
Right.
A lot
Yeah.
of vagina.
Right. That's why they were paired up there.
And number 2.
And number two is based on number 2 from Thunderball.
Right. The eye patch.
He's got the eye patch. He's got, a girl. That's the. Or no, sorry, you were talking about Dr. No. No, never mind. But a lot of vaginas based on her. I don't remember what her. I don't know. I don't remember if she had a name like an innuendo-ish name.
Oh, I see.
In Thunderball, but
Yeah, I think she had a name, but I don't remember it.
yeah,
I don't remember.
it might have meant something, but
I like how number 2's character in this movie has completely different goals and
Than Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil, which I'd
Yeah.
never noticed that before
yeah.
because it's just
At the end of the movie, he's like, "You're ruining this company." Dr. Evil's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Isn't the company just for money to do the other stuff?
And as I'm watching the movie, not Dr. Evil, but number 2, he does talk about the company quite a bit. He's like, the company makes $9 billion a year.
He's like, I have built this company with my bare hands.
Yeah, and Dr. Evil's just coming in and kind of fucking it up a little bit. He's like, oh, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And then and he a great joke from there is he lays out the whole map of where they have these businesses. First of all, he says he's got businesses in 38 states, and then he shows you stuff in like 4.
Yeah.
So you're expecting this map to be packed with little models, and then it's just like he's got 4 things.
Which he doesn't even really like. What does he say? He has a dock. He's got a factory. It's like, dude, you got way more ground.
Oil refinery.
Probably way more interesting stuff. Here.
Yeah. But the best part is, and we have a factory in Chicago that makes small models.
Tiny factory models.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tiny factory models. And
Dr. Evil does naturally.
and that's what we talked about in Goldfinger. Is the whole thing about Goldfinger has this big elaborate board of how he's going to rob Fort Knox. Actually, not rob Fort Knox. Set off a nuke in Fort Knox so they can't touch the gold because all the gold will be radiation laden.
But it's from a stage that rises up from the floor. So you would have had to. You have to not
Especially
only
in the 60s.
Yeah, this is a long time ago. So you would have to have an entire almost basement underneath this thing that comes down for them to build the thing. Build the actual miniatures.
Which he did.
And somebody down there, operating the machine, and there's probably raise the stage, raising the stage,
Raising the stage! Well, it's funny because he's got this room full of mobsters.
Oh yeah, yes, dude. And what are they?
Because all these mobsters have stolen things for him so he can pull off this job.
Real stereotypical
Like 60s
Chicago.
Kind of hey, what's going on
hey,
here?
What's
Hey,
the floor there?
hey, the floor's moving. Ah!
Get that thing away from me.
And so, they go through this whole thing, and he's pointing everything out. What's hilarious in that movie is he gives them their whole plan, right? He's like, "Who's in?" And some dudes are like, "I'm in," and then one dude's like, "I'm out," and then he just kills them all anyway.
Fuck it.
So why would you spend the time giving the whole plan?
Because he's a showboat.
Doing the whole thing. But who's there to see it?
The audience.
This one's for you.
This one's for you. It's just his ego. That's all it is.
Yeah, he probably recorded and watched again later. He was like, "Damn, that was good."
He's like, I give a good presentation. God damn it.
All right, so. I know.
So they kind of do that whole thing, and when they're negotiating with the UN, because it's kind of like this room full of dudes in like suits all of a sudden. And they got the sunglasses on. I thought that was kind of a callback to that. But the model thing, I thought that was a callback to the
That's
Goldfinger
definitely a
deal.
direct callback for sure.
Because it literally like presses a button and everything, like the pool table goes away, the shit comes out. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just fun.
Whole spectacle.
I don't want
It's
to
a
just
whole
go to
spectrum.
random bits in the movie.
No, do
Tell
it.
me if I'm going too far ahead, but I love when the UN in this movie, when they're like, oh, this is the UN, and it's just a
As if the
bunch
UN's
of like,
always there.
yeah, and they got like a sumo wrestler and like a guy from like a tribe in Africa, and it's like, dude, this is just a bunch of like, they picked like a person from every like culture and
Yeah.
put them in this room, and they're like, yep, that's the United Nations.
Well, as if the United Nations are just always
In this dark,
There.
dim lit
Waiting
room,
You know?
for shit to pop
It's
off.
like-
a shirtless Japanese man, like,
yeah. It's a 9 to 5.
And there's
thing,
not
you
even
know?
enough chairs for everybody. Like
No,
half of
there
them are
was- yeah,
standing.
half of them are
I
standing
almost all
around.
of them are standing around, like just.
We have. Oh, sorry. Group therapy first.
Oh shit, that is hilarious, dude. I think Seth Green. We haven't talked about Scott yet, but Jesus Christ, Seth Green plays a perfect Scott. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
He does such a good job at like that angsty, shitty little teenager.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
fantastic.
good. And then these counseling scenes, the group therapy scenes, are just hilarious.
He's like, I don't know what I want to do. Like maybe like a petting zoo, an evil petting zoo. Like, no, you always do that.
Well, Dr. Evil's like whole speech is totally a call to like their, what would you call that, like exposition, I guess, like how
Yeah, well,
how the
basically-
bad guy in the
How it
bad guy in every
becomes-
James Bond always has to like tell his fucking story
Yeah.
and tell about. I guess we've only really had what's his name in James Bond movies? Dr. Evil's counterpart. I always forget.
Oh, Blofeld.
Blofeld, yeah. We haven't really had, like, we've definitely had some Blofeld speeches, but we haven't had, like, any other bad guys than
Right.
Blofeld. But his whole elaborate long story and, like, his almost every word is, like, almost evil. Like, he's like, the lament. I don't know. It just sounds so evil. And it's the perfect setting for him to tell some awful fucking, like, oh, well, where do you come from?
He's
Forcing
like,
him
oh,
to-
it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, no, come on, tell us. And then it's like,
Well,
like obviously this guy's evil.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way he tells the story. It's like, my father was drunk.
My mother was a whore.
She was a
She on the
whore,
bed,
and
she
My
was
mother
all-
was a prostitute.
a 15-year-old prostitute
Yeah.
named, fuck, was it like Phoebe or something?
Either way,
A
you can
Malaysian prostitute named Phoebe, and she had webbed feet.
see- yeah, it's like that was absurd shit, man. I
My
love
father drank and abused, and he made crazy claims like he invented the question mark. He had oftentimes accused chestnuts of being lazy.
What was it about the meat helmet too? He's like, at age 6, I made
Summers in
it. Yeah,
and
this-
somewhere where we had luge lessons, and then at the end of the season we'd make meat helmets.
what does that mean?
normal stuff.
I don't
What
know.
does that mean? Yeah,
What's-
it's
what's
like
a
pretty,
meat helmet?
But anyway, it's every like pretty
Pretty
normal
standard,
stuff. Pretty
pretty
normal
normal.
stuff.
Pretty normal things.
I had a normal
When
childhood
I was-
with my mother.
When I acted out, I was put in a burlap sack and beaten with reeds.
Oh yeah, that shit. Which I love how. We'll go back to Scott. He takes such a back seat to Dr. Evil, and I think to even further that point in the next movie when they introduce Mini-Me,
Yeah.
I think that he's just added just to make Scott that much more, you know, because they almost repaired the relationship
Yeah.
to a certain point. You know what I mean? They have to go a step backwards for that character for sure
Yeah.
to keep that character in like the same headspace. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the guy at the UN that speaks for everybody is him for you two because neither of you knew what I was talking about. But he plays Babu in that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry makes suggestions about the cafe. He should go all Middle Eastern themed, and then the cafe fails, and he's bad man, Jerry. And it's the whole thing. So that guy was Babu. Just saying. Barely not showing nudity. We talked about that. Two quotes. I never forget a pussy. Cat.
Which that scene, I remember that scene. That's ridiculous because they have the camera, and he takes the scene, he takes the picture.
Yeah.
And he's like, she says, "Oh, that's Dr. Evil's cat." And he says the pussycat line, and then he just turns to her and says, "Vanessa, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Yeah. How about a night in the town?" Cut to a night in the town. Yeah. It's a night in the town now. That was all the spy shit they did. Woke up, had breakfast, took a picture. I'm gonna shag the fuck out of you. Oh no,
they're getting away. Yeah, you're so hot. Let's go out tonight.
That's exactly it. She's like, "Oh no, they left." That's it. The whole scene. Yeah. They get in the car. "Oh no, they left." What about a night in the town, baby?
Sure.
Yeah. I will say that. I will say that's almost a negative in this movie. That was kind of like, which might have done that on purpose, but like the pacing. That's such a weird pacing.
Well, the fact that it really speaks to the fact that Bond really doesn't do any spy shit.
He doesn't do any spy shit.
The most when we were watching those, the most spy shit he does is in Diamonds Are Forever. Like the most recent one we did.
Yeah.
Is finally he's like, "Oh, I got a grappling hook. I'm sneaking into this guy's place." Like,
actually doing spy shit.
Yeah.
Instead of just running around with a gun and a beer like he usually does.
Gun and a martini.
A martini. He's got his fucking Chardonnay and martinis.
Yeah.
Blasting off.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But in that scene with the bus, I think it's an ode to Her Majesty's Secret Service. Her Majesty's Vegas tours.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely.
It's got to be a callback
that's
there.
Definitely a reference.
Bond would definitely not turn down a drunk chick.
Oh yeah, I mean that's more. I think that's probably Mike Myers shining through a little bit. I'm sure he would have loved. I mean, I'm sure James Bond. Yeah. In that moment, would have said, "Drink more. Here's some more. You want to drink more? Here.
Have another drink. Get undressed.
Here. Open your eyes. Here. Sip, sip." No, I mean maybe not Mike Myers shining through. I would like to say so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he wasn't into rape.
Yeah, but
good for him.
That's a
but I mean that's also where he wanted to talk about like, "Oh, your mother, that's who I always had my love for."
That's what I always had the hots for. I mean, you'll do when you're sober, but I'm not sure the drunk problem ever arose for Bond though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we really.
That was also kind of the maybe this is a reach. But when I remember the late 90s and early 2000s movies, there's always a love interest. Mm-hmm. It's always a love story. Or at least there's even like comedies, somebody's always got to have a love interest. You know what I mean? Yeah. It couldn't just be a straightforward like comedy. Which that might have been just kind of like, oh, well, like if there's a love interest, it'll sell more. You know what I mean?
Well, it keeps you waiting for the conclusion, helps you get through the movie because if there's a relationship established in the beginning, that has to resolve itself by the end of the movie.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to see them like oh, will they or won't they type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that is kind of a just a good storytelling. I wouldn't even say that's like a trope. That's more of just like good storytelling.
It's a vehicle.
Yeah, it's a vehicle. I guess that's not a negative then. Because in the James Bond movies, we don't really give a shit. It's just like we know she's going to be disposed of.
Yeah, they're disposable.
Yeah, they're very disposable. And which I know, spoilers, but I know with like the next Bond movies that she gets disposed of. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or not Bond movies, Austin Power movies, sorry. But I know that, Vanessa's not in all of them.
Right.
Is she in the second one? She's not in, I think she's like... she's very beginning. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then the third one, of course, is Beyonce, which awesome. But
I don't remember the girl's name from the second one, but she's not bad looking either.
No,
so
which I guess that's not a negative. It's more of it just a.
Well, it's the Bond model,
right.
Like you feature this fucking, this fox. Hey, look at this gal.
Which maybe that's just the age of the time since he went forward 30 years, like the flight attendant deleted scene. She's like, oh, this is the future now. You can't be disrespectful.
Like, I'm not wearing these things where it has nipples built into the uniform.
Yeah,
exactly. She's ready to kick his ass when he slapped her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that was just because, like, now it's a little bit more... You can't just be
We're not called stewardesses now. We're called flight attendants.
Yeah. Maybe that's the whole thing with the movie is that, like... I know I've probably said this like 3 times already, but like now that I'm looking at it, is the whole picture like James Bond's whole love interest thing is that she's like stop being so fucking James Bondy. Or, sorry, I'm confusing it. She's like, stop being so James Bond, Austin Powers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's... Now it's starting to look a little cuter now that I'm looking at it. It's like, oh, okay. That's a sweet love story of a borderline rapist now. Borderline rapist at this point.
You thought about it.
Yeah.
A lot of vagina quoted You Only Live Twice when she said, in Japan, men come first and women come second. Austin Powers says, and sometimes not at all.
Which I want to think that the director... Who directed this movie, by the way? I don't want to... the director. Do you know?
Fuck, I'd have to look at the case.
Well, we can look it up later, but
Stay
I'd
here.
like to think that, like...
Tell Jason about your dick or something.
I'd like to think that the... So anyway, it's... I haven't shaved in a minute, dude. So it's like a little... Like, it's like a jungle down there right now. And I've got this issue where I have these, like, shavers, but I use them for my face. And
And you don't want to cross. I mean, you don't have, like a head that you can interchange, so you have, like,
the thing is, like,
a ball one and a face one.
I
Leave your ball one in the shower and your face one on your
It's
sink.
a electric...
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of conflicted. I don't know if I should go buy a second shaver or just have, like, a good amount of alcohol in deck, so...
I don't know. I feel like, just like a regular thing like clippers, you could get one really cheap, and...
Yeah, I mean, they're inexpensive.
Yeah.
It's just, if I can solve this problem without spending money, that's the optimal route to go for me.
Sure.
So, anyway.
Jay Roach directed all three
Jay
Austin
Roach.
Powers movies.
Okay. God damn it, because I definitely lost what I was... Damn it.
You know?
Oh, yes. All right, I know.
Oh, you know? Okay.
I'd like to think that Jay Roach probably found those scenes as funny as we did.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's, to me, those were the funniest scenes. With him in Japan and, like, them showing us this quote-unquote culture that, like, definitely is just, them looking... They're not even... They're, like... I can't compare it to anything. I don't even know how to, like, explain how racist this shit is.
It's so racist.
Like, beyond it. It's like
Bond.
blackface. It would be like them doing blackface the entire time.
It's Asian face.
It's Asian face. Literally
It's Asian face.
is what
They're
they
like,
did.
Bond, you have to be Japanese.
Yeah.
They put these things on his eyelids. They give him a bowl cut.
It would be like if they went to Harlem, did blackface, and were like, all right, you're just going to eat chicken and watermelon all day, and then that's what you're going to do. It's like,
Bond, you're black now.
yeah.
Tan his skin, to shave his head.
Starts listening to, like, Stevie Wonder. It's like, God, this guy.
My favorite part of You Only Live Twice, and just the ridiculousness, Bond, you're going to ninja school.
Yeah.
And this guy...
And that was delivered with a straight face, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. There was no...
There's this guy...
He wasn't like...
They're showing this ninja school, the amazing feats of this ninja school, right? And, like, first shot is like, this is ninja school. And, like, all these Asian dudes are like, ah! Running, right? Just a big field of them.
Sure.
There's a guy between these two skinny little trees. Right? This is so funny to me. Because he goes, yeah, 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 cuts them both in half, right? And then turns around and, like, cuts some fucking, like, dummy, right? And it's like, in order to do that exercise, you gotta wait whatever the time period takes for that
5 years.
tree to go.
Those trees are at least 5 years old.
You can do that drill once every 5 years.
Well, I mean, I'd imagine they got a plot of land. They probably got like a dozen of those you just cycle through.
The payoff is not worth
That
the time
exercise,
invested.
I mean, yeah, if you're talking from a logistical standpoint, yeah, but you got to probably have a small field of these trees. However, this is an exercise only one person can do every couple of months at that point.
It's probably like a graduation thing. Like, you have to be like, this is your
these are your
grandmaster
trees.
test. These are
Yeah.
your trees. You know what? He probably had to plan them. It's probably a discipline
Yes,
thing.
he's got.
I'm overanalyzing this now. But
Yeah, but no, that's true. That's probably what happens. Is in ninja school, you gotta. Bond got the
Yeah,
2-day
that's
version,
cool,
and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm a ninja." He's got suction cups and all this
I got
stupid
my
shit.
certificate.
It's like,
But I bet those guys, that's the discipline thing. They gotta put fucking Miracle Grow, and they gotta water that shit,
this is going to be kind of random, man, but I feel like there's a training in some military where, like, they give you a puppy, and you're supposed to, like, love this puppy and, like, do stuff with this dog, and then you're ordered to kill it. I don't know what it is. We can Google this. I want to Google this.
Oh wait,
You know
is
what I'm
that the
talking
medical
about?
thing where you get some sort of pet, and then they keep like slaughtering the goat, and then like you gotta fix it up? Like that's how they practice like patching things up.
I want to say this is like a I forget what it's called in like the military school, but it's like a real like.
If they're just out
it's like
killing puppies, I'm not into it.
It's like I'm pretty sure it's in the U.S. military where they like teach you how to deal with torture, and how to deal with psychological.
And so you have to kill this thing that you love, so that nothing can.
Yeah, they like actually
break
torture
you.
you. They actually teach you how to like do this. And
I guess that's fair, but if we're just killing puppies,
I feel like I would rather have like the
into
car battery hooked up to my nipples than
have
to deal with the dog thing.
Yeah. It's like
I'd be like, you can kill me, dude. Let's let the dog go. Like I'm good.
right, exactly. And that's like I don't know. Maybe that's part of the training. Is like I don't know. I'm sure some listener out there is like, I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about, but
and they're like screaming at the thing. They're like,
they're
it's
like,
this.
Yeah, which we could easily Google it, but the computer's on the floor and we don't have it hooked up to the TV yet. So
Right.
Need that HDMI cord now.
Yeah. The trope of slow avoidable deaths. Like, why in the fuck is this warehouse full of steamrollers?
Like there was nothing else in that room but
Nothing
steamrollers.
else.
Empty warehouse.
We just got steamrollers. We're good. Hey, what are you doing today? I'm at the steamroller plant. What are you doing there? I just drive laps in the steamroller.
Just making sure the floor's flat.
Which that whole scene, that's another memorable scene, which I mentioned. I mentioned that scene on one of our earlier episodes, which I mistakenly thought it was from Airplane. Mm-hmm. It's from this movie, where it's, that slow, avoidable.
I feel like you said Airplane. I feel like we established what it was.
In that previous episode.
I think we talked about it. Because that I know is from Austin Powers. Just the get out of the way. Ah!
Oh, maybe we did.
I'm pretty sure we got it.
Well, you know how I operate, man. So.
Yeah, no, you're good.
It's not don't hate the player, hate the game.
No, I'm not hating anybody.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But yeah,
anyways,
trope of slow avoidable deaths. The steamroller guy.
Do you want to talk about the deleted scene? This is probably one of the better deleted scenes, which.
I thought these are my favorite list of deleted scenes I've ever gone through on a movie. This is why I like having the DVD, because you actually get the shit.
Yeah.
That comes with it. You can look at a streaming service and you can watch a movie and you can be like, great, I don't have to own discs. But the truth is, with the disc,
you get a little more.
You get the extra stuff. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Sometimes they trick you though. You buy a disc and then you're like, all right, where's the special features? And they're like, play, scene selection, languages, and you're like, oh fuck, I got one of these. Yeah. So the deleted scene. There's two deleted scenes with both kind of henchmen that die, right? So this henchman that gets run over by the steamroller, played by Michael McDonald, who I know played in The Heat and I can't remember the other thing he was in that I saw recently. But The Heat is that Melissa McCarthy, Sandra Bullock movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I remember it from Mad TV.
Right, yeah, that's what Dakota said too when I watched the movie with him. Yeah. Oh, Halloween Kills. That's what it was.
Halloween Kills. Okay.
He's the. Yeah, there's a gay couple that lives in the original Michael Myers house, and of course Michael Myers comes home and the gay couple's pretty funny because they're like, I got this knife. He's got this little cheese knife, and he's going after Michael Myers with it. It's pretty fun. Right. So he gets run over, and then it shows this house and this kid.
Oh yeah.
He's riding his bike home, and then a woman picks up the phone. What? You got run over by a steamroller? Oh my god. Hangs up the phone. She's like, okay, sit down.
Bobby,
whatever.
Billy,
probably
Bobby,
Billy.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you some sad news.
Your stepfather's dead.
He's
what? He's been like a father to me ever since you and Dad split up. It's like they never think about how the effect of a henchman dying on the henchman's family.
CNES. Perfect, dude. Perfect.
And then the other deleted scene there is.
Well, let's talk about that scene before we talk about the deleted scene.
Okay.
They get captured.
Yes.
They get captured. They're playing with the trope of like, why don't we just shoot him?
Yeah.
Because like
Scott's like, I got a gun.
Like really
in my
pressing
room.
on it. He's like, we can do this right now.
He's like, Scott, shh. I'm gonna do it my way. Scott, shh. Scott, shh. Scott.
I got a whole bag of shh right here for you. Okay.
Shh. With your name on it, Scott. Shh. And of course they walk him up real slow and everything like that. And Dr. Evil says, put him in the chamber with the shark with the laser beams attached to their heads. And Doctor Two,
number
two leans over and he's like, unfortunately, a lot of things have changed in the past 30 years, and there's a lot of red tape. So, unfortunately, we couldn't get any sharks with laser beams attached to their heads. And he's like, well, what did you get? And he's like, well, we got a lot of sea bass. Sea bass?
Right.
He's like, right. He's like, what does he say? What does he ask?
Are they at least still mannered?
He goes, well, they're mutated. Oh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are they ill-tempered?
Oh, yeah, ill-tempered, yeah.
Yes, he's like, oh, yes, very
He's like,
ill-tempered.
oh, very.
Very ill-tempered, yes. So they guide him up into the room with the ill-tempered sea
And he
bass.
goes, do you really expect them to pay up, Dr. Evil? He goes, no, Mr. Bond, Mr. Sorry. No, Austin, I expect them to die. Which is a callback to Goldfinger. He's got the laser coming up the board that James is strapped to. They're one and the same at this point. Who cares?
Yeah,
I'm just calling everybody Bond. At
James
this point.
Powers, Austin Bond.
James Powers, yeah. The laser's coming up the fucking board. And he goes, you don't expect me to talk? And he goes, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Perfect.
So definitely call back there.
Definitely a reference to the old, I almost said Austin Powers, the old Bond movie, man.
Yeah. Oh, they're one and the same.
They're absolutely one and the same. But yeah, so
they go in the
that
room
scene, he's got the
ill-tempered mutated.
Yeah, in the room with the ill-tempered mutated sea bass. They use dental floss
And toothpaste
to escape, and they finally get to the henchman, and
this is
Bond-
the representation. Every time he goes, Joe Chop! Because like Bond thinks he like knows shit, right? It's just the pathetic athleticism of Sean Connery in all these movies, where he's like, ah!
and
You
it's
know,
like the
just
boom bang
the one,
pow.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Boom bang pow. You know.
yeah, and so he's like, because at one point he's like, judo trip.
Yeah, everything has got to be.
It's judo something.
Yeah, judo something. But so he takes the guy's head
Into the sea
bass, and the sea bass devour his head like fucking
like
piranhas.
piranhas.
Yeah,
which is a
hilarious.
callback to You Only Live Twice and the piranhas in the water.
Yeah.
But
So in that scene, of course, the henchman dies. But in the deleted scene,
yeah, the deleted scene, the name tag's John Smith, right? And it's Rob Lowe and these guys at a Hooters. Product placement, right? By the way, I wonder if they lost a bunch of product placement there in the deleted, like money, basically, because like, I'm sure
Budweiser
they got, like,
and Hooters were both
budget,
in that.
right?
Yeah,
They got Budweiser budget, right? But probably lost some shit. But anyway, so yeah, Rob, this Hooters waitress comes. He's like, you can't believe John Smith's getting married tomorrow. He's like. The guy's like, where is John? It's not like him to be late.
Yeah,
He's like,
not
well,
like John
he works
Smith.
for Dr. Evil. He's a henchman, so, they work late sometimes. Like, phone call for the John Smith party? I'll get it.
Rob, yeah.
Hey, he gets on the phone. What? His head was eaten by a... Or no, he was decapitated by mutated, ill-tempered sea bass?
okay.
Oh my god, okay. He walks up, what's up with Smitty? Like, he's not coming. John Smith's not coming. Oh, why not? He was decapitated by mutated, ill-tempered sea bass.
My God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but the guy's like, oh my god. The way he says it, it's just like, you could tell he was almost on the verge of laughing that guy. Because he was like, oh my god. Like, he was so, it was fucking hilarious.
It was great, yeah. And so, they're like, this one's the John Smith. So that was probably my favorite series of deleted scenes, because then, well, we'll get to the other.
Yeah, we'll get to the other ones.
Because we covered the stewardess, the two henchmen. So yeah, we'll get to the ending ones.
Perfect.
All right, so the kind of Bond lines is when dude loses his head, right? He does like 4 in a row. They don't do them all movie. Like, the first time it comes up is Dr. Evil does one. Because when they present the fembots to him, he goes, it's nice to see a woman of that caliber.
Yes, yeah. Which I think that's... real quick, I think it's funny that none of Dr. Evil's jokes really land at all.
Right.
And all of, like, the laughing is pretty much, like, because everyone's nervous. Like, even the evil laughing.
Well, the evil laugh is everybody just keeps, like... That's, yeah.
They're just, like, building off of, like, is he done laughing? Could I be done laughing?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's like, Whoo. Yeah. So yeah, he has that line, and then Austin does like 4 in a row after that dude loses his head because they haven't done him, and then Vanessa just sits there and goes, yeah. Oh, I guess. He goes, not a good time to lose one's head. Yeah. It's like, not the way to get ahead in life. Yeah. It's a shame he wasn't more headstrong. He'll never be the head of a major corporation. Okay, that'll do. Yep. Walk away.
It's like we've hit the limit. Let's move on.
Which I'd like to think that when they were writing this, they just were like, all right, write a bunch of Bondisms, right? They're, all
yeah, just throw 4 right there.
Boom. No
get it over with. We won't have to. Yeah, we're not going to sprinkle them in. Just bam, 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 bam.
Get them out of the way.
Get them out of here.
Easy.
You know what? I did just. Dude, I remember. Diamonds Are Forever. Opening scene. Very brief character. Mustafa, Will Ferrell's character's got the red hat.
Yeah.
Fucking the dude in Cairo who's playing cards when Bond's going around. Where's Blofeld?
Oh,
where's Blofeld?
Yes,
Going around interrogating all these people, and then it's the one dude who's playing poker in Cairo or blackjack, whatever the fuck. I don't know cards. He's like, hit me, and then Bond turns him around on the shoulder and just pa. So that's a Bondism in itself, right? It just kind of like not literally a Bondism, but a Bond actionism. I don't know. Anyway.
Bond actionism.
But that's definitely what Mustafa's based on. Is
Yeah.
that dude in Cairo that's in the movie for like 2 fucking seconds. Anyway. Feeding enemy is definitely trope of the Dr. No movie.
What is it? What did you say?
Because Scott's like, you're feeding him? You're feeding your nemesis?
Oh, yeah,
right?
dude.
That's what they do in Dr. No. Dr. No sits down and has dinner with him, and he talks about his robot hands that are never utilized, as we talked about.
Is that where he's like in the almost hotel? Where he has it up? Yeah.
It's a fantastic facility. You're like, I might be an evil guy. Like, I'm cool if this is
Every
these are the
movie,
perks.
he's got his own, I feel like he's being put up by the bad guy.
Yeah,
puts him up in a hotel.
You're a villain now.
Enjoy your last days, Bond.
You get this form as if you're a villain. And like they know your address, but they're not allowed to come arrest you. And they're like, all right, look, if you're a villain, sign here, here, and here. And these are the requirements.
These are the amenities you must provide.
Yeah, the amenities you must provide when you hold a 00 agent hostage.
A lot of red tape.
a lot of red tape, like with the sharks. So yeah, just very reminiscent of that. The plastic suit when Dr. Evil's in the in the thing. In Dr. No, it's this reactor underground. Everybody's got to wear these radiation suits. That's how Bond slips in. Is he's in this fucking suit and like nobody saw his face or whatever, and he's just kind of like standing there like, what are you doing? You up there? Turn the wind! And he's like, So yeah, a lot of that, and it's standard Bond shit. Just this underground base where shit can launch out of, or
I could be misremembering, but I feel like at some point Blofeld was the only one in the suit. You remember, I don't remember which movie.
Well, because Blofeld's not in that one. It's Dr. No.
Well, wasn't he the only one?
Because you never
with
meet
a suit?
Dr. No, or you never meet Blofeld until you meet his back.
Whoever the bad guy.
Dr. No was the main guy in Dr. No.
Okay. In that scene in Dr. No, then I feel like I remember saying why the fuck is he the only one in that suit? He comes out it's highly radioactive, and nobody else has the suit on. Or am I misremembering that? Because I
think you're probably basing it on the fact that Dr. Evil was the only one in the suit in this scene, because he made everybody walk around. That's how Bond was able to slip in, is because everybody's in those suits down that basement.
We might have to go rewatch that scene because this might be one of those
Yeah, I mean we can show it to you after, but I'm pretty sure everybody was wearing it. So.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Dr.
I
Evil
can't because I just lent Dr. No to a guy at work, but anyway.
But Dr. Evil had the right idea, though, because his suit was perfectly clear, so you would have seen who it was,
Exactly
no matter
who it
what.
was,
Like, there
yeah.
was no sneaking
Austin's
around.
not sneaking
Very
around.
slippery.
Yeah, he was slipping off of everything.
All over the place,
Yeah.
man. Slipping off the chair. Yeah, he couldn't figure. I like how.
He's trying to put his
Yeah,
hand
he
on
was like
shit.
he
It's
couldn't figure out like how to just stand there. He was like trying to.
He's doing this.
Like
He's
slipping
doing the
off shit.
pinky thing.
It's like, it's
and
not-
he's like, eh.
It's not the same when I can't actually touch.
Yeah. Just doesn't feel right. The repeating commands, that's the you only live twice thing.
Very yeah.
It's like, okay, open the shutters. Okay, opening the shutters. You know, the whole...
Yeah, we
So-
definitely picked up on that almost immediately because
Yeah.
that was like
Well,
you
'cause
said
that's
earlier.
the Fraulein thing. Just the... I haven't come across anybody doing, like, the screams that you do. Which you were busy bringing in the fat bots!
Well, you know, I mean, Fraulein from the Bond movies.
Yeah.
She was loud
Yeah.
and for nothing,
More just, like, bitchy. Like, she didn't do, like, the exaggerated, like...
screaming.
Just
yeah,
like the scream. It's always the last word. It's like bringing in the bots.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Number 2 walks in. It's just a fembot stuck in a briefcase, leg hanging out this end, legs hanging out the other.
He's got his own thing going on. Man. Don't
They just don't address it, like,
They
whatsoever.
never address it.
Don't
It's
judge
just
him.
So fucking
Don't
funny.
judge number 2, man. That's his kink, is robots.
and that leads us to the deleted scene with that one. That's the other deleted scene that I love.
Oh yeah.
He's talking about he's talking about he's like, Austin, I got a proposition for you. There's $1 billion in this briefcase. And he like counts the one stack. Apparently Austin can count money by hearing it. And he goes, you're about $832 short. He's like, I had to buy the case. And he's like, oh, so in a way, I'm buying the case. He's like, it's a nice case. And he's like, right, but I don't like the principle. He's like, it's a
Miguel, you're like something.
I fucking had it written down. I guess I didn't. It's a Fendi or some shit like that. And he's like, it's a nice case. He's like, I don't like being stuck with the case, though. I don't like... And then he's like, I had enough. And he does press him down. It's literally... They just cut, like, 30 seconds
Almost that whole scene.
out of
they
that
cut,
last
because
scene.
like
Yeah.
the scene goes, Austin, I've got a business proposition for you. Austin walks up with a machine gun, sits down, and Dr. Evil puts number 2 in the hole.
Right.
So it's
So they
definitely
basically... Yeah, they cut, like, a 30-second thing out of there. And that's the other thing with the flight attendant thing, is he buckles his seatbelt on the beanbag chair, which is ridiculous and funny. But, you know, there's a continuity lack there because in the real movie you don't see that deleted scene. And so, all of a sudden, you didn't see him buckle his seatbelt, and so all of a sudden he's just unbuckling this beanbag seatbelt. Like, when did that happen? But, again, I kind of like the chaos of it. I don't know, I like that.
I think
Especially just like standing up when it's still
Stand
attached.
out with the beanbag chair in the deleted scene is good, yeah.
that's kind of a cool thing with. Let me say it like this: a director's job is very difficult.
Yeah.
Because it can quickly turn to chaos of what the fuck is going on. Because if they didn't smash those two scenes together like they did, where they're like, oh, Austin, come sit down, and then they just moved on, it could have easily gone haywire. You know what I mean? They could have easily cut it at the wrong spot, or...
I can't believe they
It's
cut
kind
the
of
case thing. Because it's literally like 30 seconds of just like, it's just a funny Austin Powers. That's a classic Austin Powers bit. I like the case. It's just, I don't know.
It's the
but
principle of
it's
choice.
the principle of like, I want to
what if I
choose if I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I thought they could have left that in. But
They definitely could have. I don't know why they took it out.
it's 30 seconds. You got to cut it under like an hour. I mean, because it was an hour 29 with the credits. So it's like, hey, what are we doing?
They're like, we need to be under an hour 30.
I guess.
Guaranteed.
Is that a thing?
I think sometimes
I mean, maybe
movie
TV.
producers
You know,
tell
if they were ever going to have it on TV, they need to be
yeah.
under a certain time bracket for it to air.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I know like Quentin Tarantino's having problems with it when we were researching Kill Bill. He's talking about Harvey Weinstein told him, you know, like, oh, why don't we do 2 parts? Like, you're cutting all this stuff because he was trying to get it. You know, it was initially just gonna be one movie, and he was trying to get it inside of, I think like 2.5 hours. Excuse me. And so yeah, that's when they came to the conclusion. Oh, why don't we just do 2 parts? You know. So I think sometimes it is a thing. of how long it's supposed to be, and now we don't care because we're just coming out with The Irishman. That's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Or
no one cares how long movies are.
Or
anymore.
Batman is 3
Holy
hours.
shit.
Yeah. But you superheroes guy,
Sure.
right? Did you watch the new Batman?
I did not.
Okay. I was curious
Because I heard it was very long, and I just didn't have that
very
time to
long,
set
and
aside.
I felt it was corny, but everybody I've talked to that's like a Batman truther or historian,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, I guess is the better name because truther sounds trollish, has told me that I'm so fucking wrong. My brother's a huge Batman fan, and he's like, "Fucking did the movie a disservice." And I'm like, "Okay, are we talking politics all of a sudden?" Like,
General
what's happening?
consensus I got was that he was a fine Batman. Robert Pattinson was a fine Batman,
I hated him
but
as
not
Bruce,
a
though.
great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the feel I've been getting
that
so
was
far.
exactly what was said.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, and I feel like if anyone wants to,
And if you don't know what we're doing by now on this podcast, I mean, look, we shit on the goofiness of movies. Like, hey, what's that? What are we doing? Like, he's got fresh berries for Bruce after a night of crime fighting. It's like, maybe get this guy some protein.
yeah, he's looking meat.
He needs to recharge.
And he looks, and when he's on, like Bruce Wayne, no offense, man, but he's like your build, like he's he's a buff guy, man. It's like he doesn't need a Nutri-Grain bar, man. He needs like a protein shake. You know what I mean? Get him going.
Yeah. All right, and so then the last note I had on it was the end scene is kind of the From Russia with Love, Diamonds Are Forever, based on that kind of thing, a mixture of the two. At the end of From Russia with Love, there's kind of like an
assassin.
What do they call that when it's the penultimate?
Yeah, penalty.
Right. Yeah. Right. So there's the hotel scene when they're like, "Okay, we got everything. We're good. Now we're gonna take the device."
The scene before the last scene.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the penultimate scene is them in a hotel. They've got their shit together. They're taking the device to wherever it's supposed to go, and then they end up on a raft at the end of the movie. And the lady who looks like Fraulein comes in to try to assassinate. She's posing as a maid. So it's kind of based on that. More so on the Diamonds Are Forever. It's a mixture, because in Diamonds Are Forever, they're on this cruise ship, and they're having dinner out on this deck, and, Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd
Oh, yeah.
come out to assassinate, and they throw him overboard. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, the James Bond movies either end in one of two ways. Either his love interest gets killed, because...
Just the once.
Just the once. Well, okay, well... His love interest gets killed in one.
Yeah.
The rest of them ends on a raft or on the water.
Yeah. Water of some kind.
Water of some kind. There's
Now
always
set up as like a Into the Sunset kind of thing, or just
kinda.
Near some body of water. Either they're literally on the water, or like in Goldfinger, they're on the beach, right next to a lake, and they hide under a parachute from the helicopters coming, because James goes, "There's no time to be rescued. I need to rape you." Right. Because, dude, Goldfinger, it's so rapey.
Yeah.
Because he literally overpowers her in a barn, and then she's like,
Oh,
okay, I love you."
yeah, she's saying no.
He raped
A
her
lot.
into
He's like,
she's
"Shut up."
a bad guy, and he literally like raped her into like, you're a good guy now. And so she called in favors. That's rough.
It's 1967. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's
it's
fucked.
bad. It's bad. Yeah, it doesn't age well at all.
Oh man.
So that's the end of this movie is, for some reason,
They are on a honeymoon, and so it's a little bit of a mixture with On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because the only movie Bond gets married at the end is in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then she gets killed.
Naturally.
So it's just that kind of like, oh, all's well and good, conflict is over, and then somebody comes to, well, of course nobody comes to, oh yes, sorry, I'm getting my shit mixed up. Somebody comes to, end the happiness, but they fend it off. Which is, we didn't see the guy who's Odd Job, except for the introduction, which his name is Random Task.
Yeah, Random Task.
Just chose different words. I love it. Just synonyms. It was just like, okay, we got
They put it in a
synonyms.
shuffle and they were like, all right, random task, let's go.
Yeah, we need a synonym.
Instead of odd job
For
it's
random,
task.
or we need synonyms for odd, we need a synonym for job. So he comes in, throws a shoe, and then, the good quote in there is, "Ow! That really hurt! Who throws a shoe? Honestly!"
Yeah, that was one of my favorites as a kid, too. I remember quoting that as a kid, like, who throws a shoe, honestly?
And then, Austin gets in his, "Whoa!" thing, and literally, random Tess goes up, and he's like, "Whoa!"
Choke
Chokes the shit.
Like, which is very accurate to how it's portrayed Oddjob versus Bond in Goldfinger. Is Oddjob literally is just throwing him around, and he can't do anything about it. Like, I guess the dude's like part Jaws or something, because he's like punching him in the stomach, kicks him in the balls, and like Oddjob's just smiling at him.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, and he's just throwing him around. So Bond has to outsmart him, which I wouldn't think would happen, because then Bond's trying to open a nuke, and he's just got like 2 gold bars, and he's like trying to like pry it open. There's like a timer for like another minute, and he's like, clink, clink, come on, clink, clink. It's a very slow process.
So we got one more scene, too. We got the deleted scene.
Right, and so then we have the alternate ending.
Which, what do you think of the... I'm glad they made that an alternate ending, because, like, it was cool,
And it wasn't just alternate, this was like original ending. Like, this is the
yeah,
first one they went
yes,
with.
The deleted scene, those 2 deleted scenes are literally called Original Ending 1, Original Ending 2. And it's absolutely the callback to Dr. No, that's how it ends. They're either... Because, Dr. No, it ends... They're on a life raft, but it's a small boat. Because it's not I think life raft entails that it's inflated. Right? So Dr. No, they're on a small boat. Like a small paddle-like boat. Or no, it's a small motor. Yeah, they get away, but they run out of gas is what happens. Felix comes and gives him a tow. And then Bond's like, yeah, he unties it. He's like, I need to fuck you in the middle of the ocean. Alone, and who cares if we starve?
Yeah. Well, he'll just eat her. They're disposable. So
yeah, exactly.
But in this scene, he
and so then in 2, they're literally on like a raft in Italy, I believe it was what it was. Goldfinger, they're on the lake. Thunderball ends on a literal like air inflated life raft, and so that's what they're on there. And then they have Vanessa dressed as Honey Rider in Dr. No in the same like white bikini. And the knife on her little chest,
yes.
on her chest. Why did I say chest? Waistband, or yes. And she's literally exactly like that. She's like, Austin, how are we on this life raft all of a sudden? He's like, this is how all my movies end, baby.
it's definitely it's an alright scene.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think it would have fit for the ending though, because like. It's just
the one they went with better.
Yeah.
But it's nice that was like one of their original ideas. It was like, well, yeah,
it's natural, of course.
Yeah, classic.
Because we've talked about that even without knowing the original ending. I was like, every single one of these fucking movies ends on a life raft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were like, and naturally, we're gonna do the same thing.
Yeah. So.
I think that's the whole movie, man. I mean, I love Austin Powers, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Gold member.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're fine.
Micromanaging dogs, man. It's a hard life, man.
Telling you.
Fucking. What'd you do to that dog, man?
I gave her a squeaker toy back so she doesn't bark.
Oh man,
Still record?
That's a hell of a life, man.
Still record. Good. We're good. All right, so
Anyway,
you give
so
a
Austin Powers
rating?
was one of my favorite movies as a kid, man. So it's got a special place in my heart.
Mhm.
Watching it again as an adult, saw a couple other things that I didn't really notice as a
You
boy.
glossed over, yeah.
Yeah, I glossed over for sure. What about you, man? You got any? What do you think, Jason? What do you got, man?
Well,
you
give your rating.
Oh, you want me to
Before
rate
you
it right
pass
now?
it on.
Well, I'm saying like I thought we were gonna everyone give their final thoughts and then we'll do a final.
Okay, so you can
We
do
do like
that,
that, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
Any final thoughts on
Yeah.
Austin Powers? man?
So, yeah, Austin Powers series is definitely one that I watched a bunch as a kid. So, I mean, that's definitely a nice heavy spot for me. One of my favorite scenes is the ridiculousness of when Vanessa goes up the ladder and he's in, like, the little car and trying to turn around. and it's just like the
Oh,
100
fuck, how did we
point
not
turn.
even mention
I was
that?
about to say,
Jesus
we didn't
Christ.
even mention that.
I guess I didn't write it down because I just thought, like, of course we're gonna fucking mention that, and I didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I just love the ridiculousness in that scene because like he was so confident that he'd figure it out eventually, but he was just doing so bad every single time. And it was such a vain attempt, but it just worked out so well for him.
I never noticed like the full form of it. Like when they eventually he's totally wedged. And
Yeah.
he's going.
He's not even like turning the wheel anymore. He's just going forward.
It's
back
like,
and forth.
certainly this will work at some point.
Yeah.
You think it would have been better
Like,
just to
keep
like
shimmying.
drag it? But...
Yeah, you could have pushed it
Yeah.
to the other direction. Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? What do you got, man? Any
Um,
final?
Yeah, so I guess going into it, I didn't realize how much thought was put into this. Like when I watched all the shit, or not watched, when I read through all that stuff this morning that they have about the spy movie inspiration, and just that whole thing going through all the 60s and everything inspired by Bond, and how much thought was put into this fucking movie. Like, obviously anyone can just make a bunch of fucking jokes. Like, that's spoof movies. I don't know a better done spoof movie, like, with this much fucking thought into it. Because I feel like, I don't know, like, the only movie I can think of is, like, epic movie, right?
Yeah.
Scary movie was good too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as, like, a ridiculous spoof, right? Like, I don't know that epic movie really played on a lot of shit, right? They basically made fun of, like, I granted this is a long time ago when I watched this movie. Like, I think I was still, like, in middle school when Epic Movie came out. I don't know what year it came out, but, you know, they just played on the fact of, like, Mystique from X-Men, and it's like, okay, he basically ends up, like, having sex with this old grandma. Like, she can be any girl he wants, and, like, she's, like, this old grandma all of a sudden. And, like, I think, again, long time ago. Just the thought of every fucking joke, like the wardrobe of everything, you know, the certain scenes, everything's
Like there was
based,
thought and care put into
Yes.
it to either reference
every
or
joke, every outfit is based on just this spy
Everything had a
phenomenon of the 60s.
Yeah, everything had a point.
And so this definitely goes, like, way past, like, just your standard comedy movie. Like, I think the genius of what this comedy is way underthought, and if you haven't watched all the Bond movies, you're going to watch it and you're just going to go, oh yeah, it was a funny movie. But if you've seen Bond, you know what the fuck they're talking about, you're going to go, okay, this is a new level of this is so fucking good. And so, you know, I'll just go ahead and rate here.
Yeah, there we go.
As far as comedy movies, this gets an A. Like, as far, you know, if we're putting it in the comedy section, this gets an A for me, for sure. Just knowing all, like, it's so much more than just a standard, like, dick joke movie. You know? Though it has its dick jokes, obviously, as any good comedy does. So, this gets an A. So, like, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because it's in the comedy genre.
A 9 out of 10?
Because in the comedy genre. Because it's different than it just being, like, you know, rating.
That's pretty strong, man.
It's comedy.
I feel like I
If
need
you're
a
saying-
chart back here to be like, okay, so category A,
No,
9 out of
because
10.
We haven't done it like
Look,
this.
if you're at an overall movie, like, I'm sure asshole movie critics are going to be like, look, a movie's all from perception, right? So I'm not saying that it's a 9 out of 10 in a general universe of just anybody coming up and watching this movie and you're like, well, what is it? I don't get what it, you know, you need a lot of background, you know? So on the scale of, like, I've watched all the Bond, I know what the fuck all the jokes are about, and, you know, there's a lot of shit put into this. So, like, if it's appreciated the right way, it's fantastic. So, as an overall movie, I'm sure a movie critic probably rated it, like, you know, movie critics are on 5 stars or 4 stars, I think. Systems, I think.
Well, stick to yours, man. What your finals at 9? You got a 9 out of 10?
Because of the fact it's a comedy movie, it goes 9 out of 10 for me. And, yeah, because there couldn't have been more thought put into this. Like, it's the highest rating a comedy movie can get because it's more than just a dick joke movie, you know? Based on years of history. Of cinema history.
History?
Cinema history.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I mean,
Cinematic history.
You're right.
Based
You're right.
on years of cinematic history, a phenomenon of spy movies in the 60s.
Fair enough.
I think you think I'm a clown right now.
I mean, I don't
just
think
laid
I don't
out this
think
whole
you're.
case.
I don't think you're a clown. Do not think you're a clown. I just think a 9 is very strong for this movie. I think that's.
But it's not your general 9. We're not rating fucking a typical movie. We're not rating like.
Your rating.
Like, we're not
rating
rating a
your
Fast
rating.
and Furious movie. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
those get put into just regular movie standards. Like, this is a very niche movie, you know?
Again, I feel like we need a chart somewhere so we can categorize.
Well, I think a rating really.
So you're also thinking this is ridiculous.
Huh? I mean, it's definitely higher than what like I would grade it. Then again, I don't have much of like the Bond background to really be like, oh, like I can appreciate all these different facets that went into it or whatnot. I can still appreciate the face value of a lot of the things that I don't understand.
Right.
You know, so I would be more around like the 7.5. You know, that would be
Yeah.
you know, it's a pretty good comedy. Maybe if I had, you know, all of the knowledge, all the appreciation, did some more of the research, I could be like, okay, I appreciate all the care and detail, but
I just can't imagine, like, how long it took him to write all this shit.
I mean,
just
like if
the
you've
way he's
seen,
gonna work all this shit in there.
I think the character of Austin Powers is hilarious.
Yeah.
Just the idea of Austin Powers is fucking hilarious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was a lot of thought that it went into it. But at the end of the day, you said it's more than a dick joke. I think that the movie plays into the fact that Austin or James Bond, or we'll just say the spy,
Yeah.
like the overarching spy in movies, is like a sex hound and all that. So of course it's going to be a lot of piss humor and sex humor and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I think a 6.9 is fitting.
Right. As a legitimate, like, look.
I mean, yes, and that's on purpose, but there's, you know, I also do truly believe that
Yeah.
it's...
But if you had to rate this in comedies, like, this is a
I'm
different...
not, this isn't me saying I don't love the movie.
No, right. But I'm saying...
he's trying
Don't
to
you
get
think-
you to rate it
No,
in his
no.
criteria.
I'm not trying to get him to change anything, but I'm saying, I feel like the way you're rating it is you're going, okay, look, this is a movie. Like, okay, yeah, if I'm rating this as a movie, there's a lot of, like, you know, the continuity's not great as far as, like, I mean, if I was going around nitpicking it, you're like, okay, well, that's not realistic. Okay, well, how's that work? You know, you could go every which way with
Yeah,
a
I
bunch
mean, I'm
of
not...
shit.
It's not like I'm sitting here talking about the mutated...
Sea
bass.
bass.
Yeah,
Ill
like, that's-
Like, well,
tempered.
there's no way a bunch of sea bass are going to eat that guy alive. I'm just saying, like...
I'm saying, take it out of just general movie category.
Yeah, I'm going 6.9.
Okay.
This is me looking at it from the lens of, like, a story. Like I said, I thought there was a couple of cheap bits when I was talking about the romance, because I feel like that was kind of put in there just to move the story forward at the end of the day. That's not even a Bondism.
Well, it is, though. I mean, Bond has a girl in every movie.
But he doesn't run around falling in love and not, no offense to anybody,
Sure.
but
And
not
not
raping anybody is definitely not very Bond-esque.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you're right.
You know, I'm not knocking the story. I'm just knocking the actual storytelling. Plus, there was it was definitely like a commercialized, like, comedy. You know what I mean? From back in the day. To me, it's just kind of, I still like it. I still love it. You know what I mean? And I know the next ones are going to be even better. You know what I mean? Because my first Austin Powers was Gold member, and then I went backwards. You know what I mean? So, I'm sure the next ones I'm going to love even more, but to me, the first Austin Powers is a strong, very strong 6.9. Still enjoy the movie, still love it quite a bit, but Tyler likes to convert that to like a letter when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it doesn't, when I say 6.9, it's not a D in my mind, right? That's to me like...
It's like a B minus.
All right, I wouldn't even give it a letter grade, because you're looking at it like above a fucking 50% or below 50% as a complete failure.
Right.
Whereas, like, to me, it's like...
Well, I would say if
we've
you're
talked
rating
about this.
rating a movie 5 out of 10.
Yeah, we've talked about this, and you were right. You're right. If I did, you know, I'm definitely not watching it again. I probably didn't like it. But
I'm just saying,
would
I don't
watch
think a
Austin
comedy.
Powers again.
Here's the thing: I don't do this with any other facet of movie.
mm-hmm.
Like I think you have to take comedies out of like just comedies in general. Like you're not gonna rate, say, Talladega Nights in standard movie.
But if
it's like because he's not getting in a car.
However,
yeah, okay.
If I'm gonna rate Talladega Nights right next to Austin Powers, it's probably gonna land in the same spot because I know exactly what I'm rating Talladega Nights. I've seen it a million times. I know exactly where I'm gonna rate that, and then I'll probably do Austin Powers the same exact spot.
The Talladega Nights will go lower for me just because it's not a 9.
Yeah, it's not a 10. It's not a 9. You know what I mean? I still love the movie. Would watch it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's not as reliable.
It's tough because I think for us it's a little bit more of an emotional attachment. Austin Powers grew up with us. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I loved Austin Powers. You know what I mean?
Well, and also,
me,
I've talked about this. I think things get nostalgia points. Like, I am not outside of having emotional influence.
Sure, if we were going to throw some nostalgia points on this movie, it's got...
This is not an unbiased podcast.
There's no bias here. No bias here at all.
It's not an unbiased... This is not a...
No, if it's not unbiased, then it is in fact biased.
Yes, this is 100%
Listen, guys,
biased
this isn't
podcast.
an unbiased podcast where unbiased people bias each other with biases.
This is a biased podcast for whoever wants to listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're biased.
Yes.
At least I am. My bias is show. So
yeah, I still really enjoyed it. Like,
yeah.
And I will still definitely watch it again. But
all right,
the nostalgia points are very.
So is there a comedy movie then? Because I'm just stuck on like, okay, so don't you think comedy movies are outside of that, right?
Well,
so
let me tell you.
Do you have a comedy movie that gets a 9?
Well, let me tell you. I personally, my favorite movie of all time, Shaun of the Dead. Right, that's my personal favorite movie. If I was,
of all the genres,
I could put it in. I could tell you every scene, every line.
Yeah. So across all genres, like if you're like, I gotta take one movie to an island with me.
Yes,
it's Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay,
it's still not in the 9s. I still love it.
It's interesting because when I gave Goodfellas a 9, you said, "How is it not a 10?" So now you're saying not even your favorite movie gets a perfect score. No. I just want to understand.
Don't you use his words against him.
What I'm saying is my favorite movie is not the best movie. What I have my own feelings towards is not what I think is the best.
Put a bias score in here, though.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean? This is biased, like.
But that's not me, man. That's not me. I don't want. That's not me, man.
That's your game.
We don't have standardized grading, so we can't give standardized answers. We got to take it for what it is.
Yeah, this is an
He's
emotion.
defended himself for what?
I could change it later.
Like, this is your class. You get whatever grading system you want.
Yeah, I could change it later.
So
I mean,
in your
right
mind,
now,
Shaun of the Dead's an A++ for you.
When I was talking about Goodfellas, it was a 10, and it will be a 10 probably until I watch it, and then it might change. But right now, after watching the first Austin Powers movie and comparing it in your weird comedy world,
okay,
it's sticking a 6.9.
I'm fine with that.
Because it's also funny. 6.9. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it fits.
So like every movie gets a 69 then?
No.
6.9. Right? Because
I might rate one 420. Might rate one 420.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So you will rate it. What do you got?
He already read it.
Yeah, 7.5 is where I was sitting at. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.5.
That's right, because you're.
Yeah.
It was one of those things you're talking like, well, I think I would, but like talking in hypotheticals and I just.
No, 7.5 seems like pretty much the solid spot there. Like I said, out of context of like the Bonds movies and taking it at some of its like face value stuff, like that's good comedy. Anyone can watch that and get a lot of the intended result out of it. Fun for the whole family kind of thing. And then that's probably where some of those, like, both the nostalgia points and maybe understanding some of the care more when you've actually seen all the other Bond movies. You kind of know all the references.
Okay, so that's a rating, right? So then, all right, so what if we go on a scale of just how much you liked the movie out of 10? Like, not like you're rating, because I feel like when we rate, right, we're taking into account, like, how you would suggest it to another person, right? But if you're talking your personal enjoyment, out of 10, like how do you?
I mean, personal enjoyment is so subjective. It's not like
right. That's what I mean.
I was sitting like on your couch, kind of like half-assed with like a fucking pillow around my head. Like I was pretty comfortable, right? Yeah. But if I was sitting on the floor, like I might not enjoy this movie as much. You know what I mean? Or if I have like a beer in my hand versus like the dog is sitting on my fucking like leg and I can't. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of factors and variables that go into an enjoyment of a movie. Is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's just outside the movie being what it is. Yeah,
sure.
Even if it's a comedy, we could be watching fucking The Notebook, but if I got a girl sucking my dick, that's a great movie.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10
One of the best.
Personal enjoyment, Fucking loved it.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
You know, I think that's kind of
okay. No, I'm not getting you to try to change. I'm just I like to see all angles of
let's
it.
get
You know what I mean?
let's go there though. Let's go there. I want to see. So, what was your personal enjoyment?
Personal enjoyment, I'd throw that up at an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
8 out of 10?
8 out of 10.
So that's interesting, because it's not far away from his original score.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that 0.5. I think that's pride. I think that's probably just pride, buddy.
You think it's
just
pride?
make it all an 8.
Okay. No, it's all 7.5. I changed my
damn
mind.
it. Damn
I've
it.
now enjoyed it less, having to think about it this much.
I'm enjoying. You know what? I'm enjoying this less.
Yeah.
I'm regretting this.
Yeah, podcast 0 stars.
0 stars.
What
Hated this. Yeah.
What about what was your personal enjoyment?
I'm sticking at a 9. Yeah.
Sticking on there.
Yeah.
My personal
Because there
enjoyment.
are. I mean, there's obvious. I'm sorry.
No.
It was a thoughtful pause that I didn't know you'd.
Finish your
do
thoughtful
right,
pause.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Okay. Yeah. Because basically, now I forget what I was going to say because we had that moment. So, never mind. Go ahead.
Works like a charm.
It worked like a charm.
I'm glad I could make you forget.
All you have to do is just make full eye contact and touch your shoulder.
Man, why do that's gonna bother me now. I completely forgot.
It's like, I had a really good point. It's gone from
No, you know, my personal enjoyment, man. I don't, that's such a ridiculous question to me. It's like, oh, how much did you enjoy sitting on my couch and watching my movie? Like an 8. Like like I wouldn't be here if I didn't personally.
Oh,
enjoy it.
because basically, you know, you watch any movie enough times, right? You go like, oh, I don't like this part. You know, like, I wish this part was a little faster. You know.
This
Yeah.
is
So
the
you
part
sit
where I
there
pull
and-
out my phone and start going through Facebook.
Sure. So, you know, with those parts X'd out, but at the same time, it's still that 9 for me just because of all the references and the little things. So.
Plus, we're kind of on this James Bond kick where it's like, you know, it's fresh. All of it's
Yes,
fresh. You know, this
absolutely.
if it was like let's say we were 50-something when this movie came out back in 1997 or what year did
Yes.
this come out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe so.
I mean, if we were 50 and we remembered all these James Bond movies, like, wow, let's see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And we go and watch it and we're like, dude,
What were
like,
we thinking?
what were we thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, before we end,
Mm-hmm.
let's thank Jason, man. Let's give a quick
Yeah, thanks, man.
a quick
And
round
ahead
of
of
applause,
time.
man, for Jason.
Yeah.
Man, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
This is
Yeah, thanks for being
this was
here.
a treat. This was a treat. It's like a
You're
Cheryl's
welcome.
cookie, sponsored by not Cheryl's Cookies.
We wish.
No sponsors yet. No sponsors yet.
Sponsored by Budweiser, Hooters, and Tap
Yeah, yeah. Tab soda.
Tab soda.